How can we keep grapes as long as possible? In the previous video, I showed you how to keep them on the vines while the weather still allows, but once the night temperatures drop below 0 degrees, the leaves fall and the vines start preparing for winter dormancy. The risk becomes serious because the juices go down and the grapes can freeze. That's why in this video I want to show you what really works at home, because I've tried several different methods, including those that sound good in theory but in practice yield almost no results. I'll go through them quickly so you know what not to do at home. Then I'll get to the method that's worth it and can extend the life of the grapes more than you expect.
Enjoy watching.
The first and perhaps most important condition to keep the grapes fresh and healthy until winter is to keep them on the vine until late autumn so there are no rotten berries or insect damage. This is an extremely important condition that must be followed, otherwise the grapes will spoil too quickly. I start picking my grapes, and if there are any damaged berries from wasps or other insects, we must remove them because they will spoil very quickly and damage the neighboring berries. The first method is to melt paraffin in boiling water. I'll dip the grape stems like this. The entire stem is covered with a wax layer which prevents water evaporation. Then we hang the grapes like this on hooks to let them hang. And not touch the ground. Like this. Now I cover them. And they go into the cellar. The next way to store grapes is 3 liters of boiling water. We add 3 grams of baking soda. And dip the grapes like this. For a few seconds. We wait for them to dry and arrange them. In the next method, the most important thing is to choose a stick with grapes. However, this stick should not be used in next year's pruning and vine formation. That's why we need to use one of the most forward positioned shoots on the main stick. Like this, I remove the leaf. And as I told you a little while ago, we need to remove all the berries that are damaged by pests. It could be wasps, grape moths, or earwigs. They also get inside the grapes and damage the berries, and then they start to rot right there. To rot. And now I place a potato on each one, but I deliberately won't put it on all the sticks to show you what the difference will be. I won't place it on this one and this one. We've wrapped it up. To keep insects out, 3 weeks later, it's time to check how the grapes are doing. The first method with the baking soda turned out quite unsuccessful. Oh, terribly, terribly unsuccessful method. The second method with the potato is much better. The grapes are completely fresh, even though the stems have already started to dry out. And this method also keeps the grapes quite fresh, but again the stems are completely dried out. Now I'll try one more method. And at the end of the video, I'll tell you which of the three methods is the most successful. This year I was even a little late in picking the last grapes. And the most important thing here is to cut the grapes with part of the vine. It's very important to cut grapes from shoots that won't be needed next year during the spring pruning. That's why the grapes on this end shoot will be used for immediate consumption. I won't store them, but I will store the grapes from these shoots that are positioned in the more forward positions on the fruiting canes. Of course, as I explained to you, A moment ago, we need to remove all the rotten berries because they quickly damage the neighboring ones.
Do you remember these scissors, the Japanese chikamasa that I showed you in one of my previous videos?
Really very light and very strong scissors. I've been cutting almost the entire season with them. It turned out that this is their amateur series. Of course, I also got the professional scissors, which are also quite affordable, but I'll show them to you in one of the next videos where I'll also show you a few methods for pruning vines in the spring. Now I continue. To gather grapes from this variety. And as I told you a moment ago, I won't be able to take this bunch on this shoot because I'll use it next year for a fruiting cane. Or a spur. I can make the fruiting cane from this one, but this one is not very suitable for a renewal spur. That's why I'll take these grapes along with part of the vine. We dip the vines in bottles of water and let the grapes hang down. This way the berries don't get crushed and they stay fresh for a long time. I think this is the most suitable method of all the ones I tried to keep my grapes fresh for a longer time during the winter. If you have experience with another method, please share in the comments. I'd be curious to learn something new. And did you guess who the enemy was that literally sucked the juice out of the Halloween grapes? Write to me in the comments because one of you will receive a vine of this exact variety as a gift. The first batch I experimented with using this method is already 5 weeks old and I want to show you at the 5th week. The grape stems are still green and the berries are still crunchy and very tasty. And here are the grapes from the other storage methods I showed you in this video. They are in the 6th week and also quite tasty, but as you can see, the stems are completely dried out. Here's the one where I dipped the stems in paraffin. Apparently, it had no effect. The stems are completely dried out, but the grapes are very crunchy and tasty. And the spoiled berries are much fewer, but the grapes must hang because when they touch, the bottom, they start to spoil very quickly. The last method I want to show you still has green stems. And the taste of the grapes is as if we just picked them from the vine. Personally, for me, this is the most successful method of the 4 I showed you. So, if you're going to store grapes, use only this method. There's no point in wasting your time with the others. Now I have a few spoiled berries because I gathered the grapes very quickly and didn't have time to clean them. I need to do it now. And you also need to periodically check the grapes and remove the spoiled ones because they start to spoil those next to them.
That's all from me for now. I hope I was helpful. If so, give a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video.
See you soon.
So I continue preparing the grapes, then they go down to the cellar where it's cool and dark. And I hope they'll last